Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So the latest movie from award-winning director Alfonso Cuarón is Roma. And so the last big movie that he did was Gravity, which was an absolute blockbuster and a technical marvel. And Roma is a completely different movie, but Alfonso Cuarón is still doing some of his best work, in my opinion, that I've ever seen. And this is something that will actually stick with you way after you have watched this movie. And so before I get into this movie, I will say that I am not a film expert. I do not study film. And so there are a lot of things in this movie that I might miss because I don't understand either the technical elements of it or the whole narrative and storytelling when it comes to doing film. So I'm pretty much just watching it from a guy who just loves movies. And this is one of those movies that leaves a really long-lasting impression because of one word. And that word is real. This movie is so real and authentic in the story that it's trying to tell that you just can't help but to be engrossed and to actually fall in love with these characters that you're watching. Now, I will say Roma is a movie that isn't for everyone because this movie is first and foremost shot in black and white. It is very, very slow pace, and the whole way that the story is told, it doesn't follow the same types of movies that you would normally see. You know, there's not a familiar setup, okay? And another thing is, since this movie is shot in Mexico City, all the characters are from Mexico, it is completely in Spanish. So just realize that you're not going in for a blockbuster Transformers type movie. This is a completely different type of movie. But with all of that being said, if you are patient, and you really focus and pay attention to watching the movie, then it really will pay off by the end. Now, this movie is streaming on Netflix, and before I even watched this movie, I've heard a lot about the movie, a lot of praises, and every single person said, just watch it in a movie if you get a chance. And I would definitely have to agree with that. Because this movie, the way it's shot, 65 millimeter, extremely wide, I think you could appreciate it best in a big screen. And also the sound design is absolutely amazing. I myself wasn't able to watch this in a theater, but just watching it and just having it in the best environment I could get it, I could see why you would get the best experience if you watch this in a theater. However, if you don't have that available like me, just watch it, enjoy it anyway, but this will be a movie that I revisit. And so, in very general terms, the whole story is focused around the housekeeper. Her name is Cleo, played magnificently by first-time actress Yalitza Aparicio. And then she is in this middle to upper middle class family with this doctor, his wife who is a biochemist, and their kids and their grandmother. And it really tells the story of what's going on in Cleo's life and also the mother of their family. So she's kind of like a secondary main character. But at the same time, all the other characters are important as well. Even if they're there for brief moments, they really help strengthen and really flesh out these two main characters. And the story itself isn't really anything that special. It's basically just looking in at a window of these people's lives, going through a really, really hard time personally, but also there's a lot of political unrest going on in Mexico City during the time this movie is told, which is from 1970 to 1971. And Roma is an area, a city area in Mexico City. And so if you just watch it from the beginning, a lot of things are very mundane. It's just showing Cleo doing household stuff. You know, she's cleaning the house, she's washing clothes, she's taking care of the kids. She's interacting with the other housekeepers inside that household and just going through their daily lives. And then on the other end, the mother, she's going through some family issues with her husbands and how she deals that with the kids. And so all of these things come together later, but as you're watching at the beginning, you just don't see that, and some people might get extremely bored because it really takes its time. But if you do invest your time and stick with it, you will definitely feel the impact of all these things that happen earlier on in the movie, in between the movie, and finally till the end. And there's just a lot of stuff going on. As you're watching this movie, because Alfonso Cuarón also did the whole photography, cinematography, there is just so much for you to absorb. There's so many little details, and in a lot of ways, there's a lot of other stories going on in the background. You could see people cleaning clothes on top of the rooftop. Then in the movie theater afterwards, you could see people trying to sell things out in the streets. During the political scenes, there are people dying, being killed. There's just like movies within movies. And as you're watching this more and more, you're really getting engrossed in this. It no longer becomes a movie. It becomes you taking an experience into somebody's life. And that's why I think this movie did this so well. And I completely forgot in many moments that I was watching a movie. I was basically wanting to know what's going on with Cleo's life, what's going on with the mother, and what's going on with these kids. You grow to love the kids that are there, and they're kids. You know, this is the real thing. All of these people are very authentic. And the amazing thing is, the main actress, Cleo, Yalitza Aparicio, is a very first-time actress. She's not a professional actress. And she did such a masterful job, especially during this one really heart-wrenching scene, and you'll see it. It was just probably one of the best acting I've seen in a long time. And that's not to say the rest of the actors and actresses in this movie didn't do a great job. They did a spectacular job, especially the mother of the kids and even the kids themselves. And so, without giving too much away, this is an extremely memorable movie. It is one that will just take you on a journey. And it is a movie that will allow you to interpret your own life in a lot of different ways. Because even though this is kind of like an autobiography of Alfonso Cuarón's childhood, it's really anybody's childhood, and everybody has very similar issues or issues that they can relate with. And that's what I really love most about this movie, because it is something that you can relate with, it's real, and it's authentic. And so if you do get a chance to see this movie, you have Netflix, or better yet, if you are near a theater that's showing this, go check out Roma. This is a fantastic movie. And if you are willing to be patient and just be engrossed in this world that Alfonso Cuarón has built, then you will definitely enjoy this. So if you had any thoughts in this movie, whether you've seen it, or whether you had any other thoughts about maybe Alfonso Cuarón's other movies, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, share, like, and subscribe. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.